Dearly beloved, we have gathered here today to get through this thing called Mix CD. My name is Mike, part of the SPDM crew, and I love making Mix CDs. Each week, we give our guests a theme and an 80-minute time limit for which songs they're going to pick for their Mix CD. This week, we are talking parody songs, spoof songs, funny songs, everything of that nature. And today, I get to welcome back good friend of the show, fellow Sip Pop contributor, and all around good gal, Patrice Downing. Patrice, how's it going? Good to see you.
I'm so glad to be back. It's been too long, and I am so happy to talk silly.
And I've sent a couple messages to you throughout the course of the last couple months it's been recording. I'm like, this is bullshit. It's been way too long since we recorded. So, and this is a topic that you pitched to me, and I was like,
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
let's do this. So,
100%.
so right off the bat, Patrice, what was it about this topic that you were like, yeah, I definitely want to do this?
I think that once we get through my list, you'll also see it. I love when a show puts a silly song in it, like that, a musical episode of a sitcom, or when, just a movie busts out in a song and it wasn't necessarily a musical movie, like things like that. But I've always loved Weird Al. Like I can remember watching Weird Al on MTV when some of his videos started coming out and just thinking like, this is so funny that people take songs and make them into new songs that are hilarious. So it's a genre I've always really appreciated. I mean, I've written plenty myself over the years. I'm definitely one of those people that like I'll be singing in the kitchen and change lyrics
Oh
to like
yeah.
my husband and I will do that to each other all the time to be just giving each other a hard time while something's going on.
Mhm.
I do it to Kelly Clarkson a lot, but
Kelly Clarkson
you
feels
can do
like
a lot with
somebody that
since you've
you
been
could.
gone
I'm sure you can, yeah, for
because
sure.
there's a lot of because you were wrong.
Yeah. Well, and also as a parent, I'm sure that comes up too, where you can
Yes.
you can repurpose lyrics or you could sing something to the tune of another song. We have songs for both of our girls, and we have a song that combines both of them. But I did a parody song for one of them to the tune of Kokomo by the Beach Boys. And my daughter, once she found out what the song was, she's like, oh, well,
She was
this
disappointed it wasn't original.
this doesn't feel special anymore. I'm like,
Oh,
oh, then don't listen to Twinkle Twinkle Little Star or
right.
Rockabye Baby or You Are My Sunshine, because those are all three of the songs that we use for
Exactly.
your lullaby songs. So I don't know what to tell you
Yep.
there, friend, but
No,
that
our house is very much the same. It doesn't matter. Like a random song can be on, but it now turned into like we're putting on our shirts and we're getting dressed and grab your Kindle, let's get out. Like I'll just be singing along to whatever the song is.
Mhm.
But it's really put down that Kindle. It's
Right.
time to go. Like,
Because because in that vein, I thought a lot about there's an episode of How I Met Your Mother where
uh,
Marshall Marshall gets called out because it's like you sing about everything. You sing about everything, and sometimes you just mumble gibberish like a stroke victim. I'm like,
and that's how
ouch.
they remembered his password so
E-
he could find out he was a lawyer.
Exactly. So it came to the rescue in that particular case, but I I I had a lot of fun putting this list together because it could go in so many different directions. So I'm curious for
Oh,
you,
100%.
did you have any hard rules that you put in or any limitations in terms of what you wanted to convey with your list, which we both agree that this topic is ripe for a potential volume two at
Oh,
some point.
100%. Yeah. So I started with no rules of any kind. It could be from TV, it could be from musicals, it could be radio played songs, it could be off any album. I just started with literally anything I think is funny. Um, and it really honestly started because I had been binging 30 Rock, and some of those songs are just so funny. And they just get some of the best talent. And if the Kidney song was on Spotify, it would be on this list right now. But the Kidney song is not on Spotify, which is just a shame, I've got to say, because there are so many artists on that song. It was insanity.
Mhm.
But I always appreciate when something that isn't musical turns musical. Like I love when Scrubs did it. Like there's just been so many shows that have done a musical episode. I mean, even Buffy the Vampire Slayer had a musical episode the one time. So I just think it's fun and unexpected and just adds an extra layer to what you're already watching. And you get a good earworm going. You're going to remember that episode longer. So it's kind of a smart move if you're in a TV show. You got people listening to your song for your show.
Right,
It's a pretty
right.
smart business move.
I would have to
But
agree with that. Yes.
yep. So I mean, I had theme songs. I had all kinds of stuff on here. So to cut it down, the first thing I eliminated was theme songs, even though Cat Dog really deserved to be on here. So
But but something like that actually would be perfect for just, hey, you got like 30 seconds left on your playlist and you might as well
it got
just
back in and out several times actually. Cat Dog has been on and off the list, and it depended on where I was looking if I was at 80 minutes or 79. So when I put Cat Dog back on, it went to an hour and 21 minutes, and I was like, no, it's like 4 seconds over or something. It's so ridiculous. And I kept switching songs on the other ones to get it back in. Yeah, I thought it was gonna like maintain the cut, but no, couldn't.
Mhm.
So, but it also helped to trim down the list by getting rid of theme songs altogether. Got rid of a good 20 minutes of my initial cut.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, some theme songs are actually a lot longer than we think. They're not all like 45 seconds. Some of them have like extended full cuts.
Mhm.
Just it's great. I can't wait. We have to do that topic at some point. It's going to be crazy.
I would agree
But
with that.
I tried to cut out things that are not supposed to be funny that I like
Oh, okay.
like things that I might find funny because it's like it's just a bad song that makes me laugh. So I
Oh.
did cut those because I thought it was a little mean and I didn't want to be mean.
So I
So
have I have two songs in particular like that on this list,
which I do
unfortunately.
have songs that are radio play songs that are not meant to be funny, but the subject matter is just you can't not think that's funny.
Mm,
So we might have the same songs for that because one of
it's
them is
possible.
just I couldn't do this list and not put it on.
Mhm.
Um, and then the biggest part was just cutting down like how much Weird Al is too much Weird Al. It was my James Bond problem all over again.
Mhm.
Because I listen to Weird Al mixes at work a lot on Sundays, honestly, because it keeps me in a good mood. And it's just a fun way to get through your day because,
Fair.
like this playlist is 2 hours. If I listen to this whole thing, like I'm through the crappiest part of my day and I can move on with doing different kinds of work. So I
Yeah.
kind of start a lot of my Sundays listening to Weird Al mixes.
So there were three artists that dominated my original version of this list. And eventually I had to say I can only have one of each of these artists. But at some point, I know that they're going to come up more consistently. So those three, Weird Al, I limited it to one Weird Al song, even though
Oh,
you can
wow.
make an entire playlist of this. And I've even got
Hmm.
a friend who's like, he's a big Weird Al fan, and I told him, why don't we do a list of your Weird Al greatest hits and go from there. The Lonely Island
Yeah.
is another one that I was like, I can only have one, even though it kind of broke my heart to do it. And then
I got them down to three. It was the lowest I could go.
so, and Tenacious D was the same way. Like, I could include so many Tenacious D songs on this, but I could only do that. The only other rule that I had was as kind of taking again as a parent, you listen to a lot of stupid shit as a parent with your children because
Mhm.
there is a lot of stuff out there that's like, huh, like no, I never really thought like I hate to call out Lori Berkner, band because I love them. They have provided us endless amounts of entertainment. But no, I've never thought of a chipmunk pumping gas ever. Like it's just no, I haven't. And Danny Go, the same way. We listened
Right.
to a Danny Go song yesterday about shark attacks for like an hour yesterday. It was like Danny Go is like catnip for children at times. So I cut a bunch of those out because I was like, it doesn't really fit with the tone of my list, considering also some of the other songs I have on this. And also we talked a little bit about this beforehand. This has a lot of dick and fart jokes in here. And
Like so many.
I eventually decided I should probably limit the sheer amount of dick and fart jokes that are on here.
Yeah, I
Yep.
had to limit the amount of butts and assholes mentioned in songs because
Hmm.
you could have just had a whole list.
Hmm.
It's a little crazy how easy those are to make. Just they're low hanging fruit, but sometimes that's the fun kind.
Yep. That is very true. So I'm curious for you, how many songs did you end up with on your list?
The final cut was 25.
Mine was
Some of these are
27.
pretty short.
Some of these are very
Wow.
short, so mine ended up being 27. And also, I had to I had to figure out how many because some of the original cuts on Spotify were not available, so I had to figure out a
Right.
different way to incorporate it in, but it still worked out in everyone's favor. So it's all good. So since I've got 27, why don't we do it in groups of probably
I've
groups of
got, well, see, some of mine are like, I kind of got like 4 and 3 and 4. Like some of mine are just the way they made sense, like how
sure.
the flow of my list went. So like my first one's 4, but then my next one's 3.
Okay.
So,
Well, why don't
whatever you've got to do that kind of makes sense.
yeah,
Because I
so
did kind of group them to where it's like, I'll have a group of songs that actually were radio play songs, but are just funny. And then
nice.
I've got like, parody songs. And then I've got, a group that's from TV. So they kind of go together was the only way I could really make that because there's no real flow to this as far as, you know,
It's a little hard to
they're
come
all
up with a
kind of up.
flow. Yeah,
Yeah.
but still nonetheless, it's still it's still enjoyable. So why don't we just group these however we want? We'll just
Whatever
kind
makes
of
sense for, yeah.
ping pong back and forth. And I'll start since I have more, and I'll go with my first three because they're from the three artists that I mentioned at the beginning that I had to limit. And it kind of sounds like I'm just ripping the band-aid off, just getting them over with. But there were surprisingly a lot of other songs that I'm like, huh, okay. So my first song is from The Lonely Island, and I could have picked a bunch of different songs from The Lonely Island because they have a lot of really great songs. But I ended up picking I'm on a Boat because number one,
On my list.
it was the most tame comparatively to some of the other songs, even though I think a lot of their other songs are funnier. But I think what sold it to me with this one, because it came down to this and another one, is who they get as their actual music artist that actually sings with them.
Yep.
So having Justin Timberlake with them, like he's got a pretty good sense of humor about stuff, so he's fine. Even getting someone like Akon, I was like, okay, that's a good get. However, if you can get someone like, I guess kind of in that same vein, T-Pain for something like that, I'll take that. Because it was very hard not to pick the song with Michael Bolton in it, because that was
Are you reading my list?
uh
Because
but I picked I'm on a Boat because also you and I are going to be doing a list of just like random references to stuff coming up at some point. And that's one where it's like who who incorporates like Kevin Garnett's anything is possible in in their song. It's just crazy. So Plus, also, I love the music video. I've got another song related to boats later on in my list, but we'll kind of keep that there. So my next one is my Weird Al song. This is my favorite Weird Al song of all time. It's Amish Paradise by Weird Al.
I'm so glad you have it because it did not make my list actually, but
Mhm.
it's such a all-timer of his. I mean, I think it actually exposed a lot of people to what he does because
Yes.
it was a different generation than his first couple of albums, and because it was based off such a popular song to begin with,
Mhm.
and the video was just so great.
The video is fantastic of this. So a couple weeks ago, I'm hosting trivia and I start playing Amish Paradise, and everyone is like getting into it because they think it's Gangster's Paradise. And then once they hear it's like, as I walk through the valley where I harvest my grain, only one person was like, yes. And everyone else was like, I hate you. I hate you so much.
Right. You
Um,
got us all amped up.
yeah. Um, I felt a little bad, but not bad enough to where I went and played Gangster's Paradise later on in the night. But I love Amish Paradise. I think I think you put it perfectly. It just perfectly encapsulates what Weird Al does. And for me, I I was familiar with Weird Al. I didn't say I was like an avid listener, but this is the song that I was like, oh, this is really funny. And then I went back and listened to a lot of other Weird Al stuff. So I I guess I could call it the gateway drug
It
for
really
me.
is, though, for a lot of people because of the fact that it was just based off such an immensely popular song.
Mhm.
And it was also kind of I think it might have been one of the first that he was kind of switching the genres that he was parodying a little
Mhm.
more because it was more rock stuff for the most part leading up to that. So it's kind of cool because some of his best songs are from rap and R&B because he just gets so many more lyrics in.
Yep.
And he's just such a great wordsmith.
Yes, very, very much so. My last song is a Tenacious D song, and Tenacious D is another one where you could pick a lot of different songs. And I ended up settling on Tribute because it because it boils down to it's a ballad at the end of the day, but that last part is what gets me every single time is because you think that this is actually how the song was that they sang to the devil or to whatever, but they say at the end it's like and the peculiar thing about this song, it didn't actually sound anything like that song. Like it's just a tribute. Like, you fool, you fool,
Yeah. It's like, we
you
got you.
thought wrong, we thought wrong. So
Yeah, they like reel us in. And then
mhm,
it's like, like Adam Sandler songs are like that a lot too, except
mhm.
for they don't like change theme or anything. It's mostly just like his last line of a lot of the ones he does will just be like, and then he died or
Yeah.
something. You're like, what?
Mhm. Right.
Like from
So
his one comedy special where it was mostly music. It's a lot. It felt like along the same kind of the vein, where you think it's going one way and then just abrupt turn and
mhm,
stop.
right. So so yeah, those are my first that's my first group for this. So um why don't you give me your first group?
So for the first time in 4 recordings, my first song is not a Smashing Pumpkins song because would you believe that they have never recorded a parody or anything silly?
I
However,
I can believe that.
would you believe Weird Al has an alternative polka that features Bullet with Butterfly Wings?
Oh
So
my
I still
God.
slid it in there. So the streak
Of
continues.
course you did.
I really, it wasn't that hard, honestly, because I knew I wanted this song in there. Because if you haven't heard Alternative Polka, it's got Beck's Loser, it's got Stone Temple Pilots, it's got Sheryl Crow, it's got Alanis Morissette, it's got Closer from Nine Inch Nails, it's got REM, it's so many, like Red Hot Chili Peppers, it's everything. And it's almost 6 minutes, and it just kind of does little snippets of, instead of doing like full parodies of full alternative songs, it is a polka song that has little bits of all of these, and it's so great.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, Black Hole Sun, there's a Foo Fighter song. It's great. It's It's one of my favorite ones because I think it's got over a dozen songs or about a dozen songs worked into it.
Mm,
And it ends on Basket Case from Green Day, which I almost put on my list, but I figured since I kind of got some Basket Case in here, I didn't need to.
mm.
So that's why I thought it was the perfect one to open with because it is just a big fat medley and it very much speaks to who Weird Al is as a performer.
Good call. Yeah.
So then my next one is actually my favorite Weird Al song, which is Word Crimes. And is if you have never heard the lyrics to this song, it is so great. He had me at cunning linguist.
Right. Oh, you
So
very just
it's
poetry.
wordplay like that that
Mhm.
I can't not laugh. And I've heard this song probably 100 times at this point, and I
Mhm.
still laugh every time because not only is he doing some great wordplay like that, he's actually talking like teaching English. Like they should teach this song in English classes. It's talking about the difference between
This
like
song
when
in
do you
English
use less and
class.
fewer
Mhm.
and are you
Mhm.
doing good, are you doing well?
Mhm.
It's so brilliant and it's so quick because it's to the beat of Blurred Lines, so there's a
Mm.
lot going on and the lyrics are just so smart and he still gets to kind of put in a couple of those little jabs about like did I stammer, are you good at grammar, like it's just like like when he's talking about less and fewer, it's talking about like being raised in a sewer. It's so great. Like I
Mhm.
love it. But it just is so fast at some points, talking about contractions and it's so like it's so funny. Like syntax, everything. It's got everything language related is jammed into this little song and it's so amazing. And even the
Right.
video is it's all the words the whole time, like jumping around, which is kind of fun. So it's actually showing the Oxford comma when it's talking about it and stuff like that. It's so great. Like
It's fantastic.
it's just really a fantastic song. It's just so smart and so witty, and I love it. Um, so the next one is the first Weird Al song I actually remember, and that's Fat, because I
Mhm.
can remember
Mhm.
it playing on MTV when it came out
Yep.
and the video being so reminiscent of the Michael Jackson one, but just gets so ridiculous when he starts like kind of blowing up and all that kind of stuff. But just to see him singing bad so seriously, but singing fat.
Mhm.
I think it's funny and I think it introduced a lot of us like that in my age range to his style and got us kind of hooked for life because if you liked that then you were on board for the whole ridiculous parody train.
Right. That is one where I I hadn't heard that one, but then when I went back and kind of did some Weird Al rewatches of things, that was one that came up and was like, God, how did I miss this? This is ridiculous. Um, I actually used this in a different one of my playlists a couple months ago, and I just was listening to it. I was like, God, I love this song. It's so good. Just knows how to just take some of these 80s songs and just make them into perfection.
Right. I
Mhm.
mean, you're not going to get to talk about pile and mode making you need your own zip code any other
No,
way. So
no,
have to
no.
like when he gets his shoe shines, he's got to take your word for it. I just all that kind of stuff is so visual, but it's so beautifully painted with words.
Mhm.
So I love that one. And it's another one that you could catch yourself singing it if you hear bad.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
You could slip into the lyrics pretty easy.
Hmm.
And my last one in this grouping is another of the somewhat newer ones, and it's Tacky. And I think the amount of talent he got in on that video was just crazy. When you watch all of the actors that he had pop into that, you just don't expect it. And for it to just be like it's a happy song and I mean it's happy,
It's
but
literally
I
happy. Yeah.
like that the tone stayed the same too, and it's just about wearing the stripes of plaids and just everything about it is so funny.
Hmm.
That's another one that I like. It's one that I'll start my day off at work with,
Nice.
just because
Nice.
it's upbeat and funny and corny, and I like it.
Hmm. Okay. So my next group, let's see, one, two, three, four, five. I guess I could split. this group in two. Well, you know what? No, I'm yes, I have to. Three and three. So this is my comedy groups section. So this is and I do try to keep everything to one artist per like one song per artist, but this was the group that I was like, I'm not sure I could do that. So I have two songs from Flight of the Conchords on here because I feel like being married to somebody from New Zealand, I feel like I'm contractually obligated to include at least one song from Flight of the Conchords. So the first song is I have Hip Hop Anonymous versus Rhymenoceros. Just
How
just
they
slides.
get through it is just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy to think. And this was one where I was familiar with Flight of the Conchords because I listen to pop culture stuff, and I also have an HBO subscription, and I don't have my head up my ass. So I I've heard of them, but I think it wasn't until like I first started dating my wife that I like really started to listen to them a lot more. And as I got more into like What We Do in the Shadows and a
Mhm.
lot of other things that like Jermaine Clement and all of those guys have been doing, it's like, wow, these guys are like really talented and really funny. So uh, I had to include that. And then the second song from them that I have is Too Many Dicks on the Dance Floor because as look, Patrice, I'm just gonna level with you here because I feel like we're pretty good friends, and I feel like I could speak freely because every guy has been in this situation at either at a party or a club or a bar or something where you're looking around and it's like no one here is dancing except just all the dudes, and it's just super awkward.
Yep.
So I had to put it on there because number one, it's funny, but number two, all dudes can relate to that. Um, and then
Yeah, I actually only cut this because I figured I should only have one penis centric song.
fair, fair. I will give you that. And then my last song in this group, um, I didn't realize how many songs Key and Peele have on their, from their sketch show. And I picked Just Stay for the Night, which is their Baby It's Cold Outside parody, which, oh man, yeah, that's
I completely forgot about them. And it's like, and now all of these are like zooming in, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't believe I left them out on this one.
well,
They're definitely
again,
making volume two.
volume two, just gonna have to be done. But I, just kind of looking up parody songs, and Key and Peele came up. I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's right. They made a lot of songs, and I went through. I was like, that's the one. That is the one that I want on this list. And who knows, maybe if we make a volume two for Christmas or holiday centric songs,
It
it may just
really lends
end
itself.
ends up there. So that is my next group, part one of this comedy group section that I have here.
So my next grouping is actually three radio played songs that I think they all came out when I was in high school now that I'm looking at it.
Hmm.
If not, it was like early into college, but my first one's Blink 182, What's My Age Again? I think that it is so funny when the song is talking about calling his girlfriend's mom to say that her dad's been arresting for sodomy.
Hmm.
Like, like who does that in a song that's going to be
Right.
played on the radio? And that was like
Right.
basically their first release.
Hmm.
Like What's My Age Again is the first song I can remember hearing on the radio, and just the fact that that was incorporated into it, and at the time like it was like, oh my gosh, like just everything about it was kind of like wild. But I think it's so funny to like make a reach like that. And and just like, yeah, we're going for it.
Hmm.
It's just funny, and they don't take themselves too seriously because the video they're just running around
They're
naked. I mean,
streaking. Yeah.
it's so funny to me. Like everything about it is just I get a giggle every time.
Hmm. It's a great
And
pick.
in the same kind of vein as that, I got Harvey Danger Flagpole Sitter. We play that in my house a little too much, probably for having
Mhm.
children around, and I'm paranoid. Everyone's coming to get me. I don't know why this song is so still part of my regular routine, but it is. And it's an earworm. I'm not sick, but I'm not well. We should all be singing that.
Right.
Like, you're okay, I'm okay. That's like how this song is. Like, it's fine.
Hmm.
It's fine. You're not paranoid. I'm not paranoid. Or we all have problems.
Good call on that.
And then my last one in this group is the Bad Touch from Bloodhound Gang.
Yep, I figured that was going to be it's
Yeah,
one
I
of my
mean,
list as well because I feel like if there's if there is ever a song that is like, how the fuck did this get on the radio?
seriously, and I think some of it's because of the, how they kind of slid it in as like, well, if you take that statement on its own, there's nothing wrong with it.
Mhm.
Like, but
This
altogether, yeah. Like,
this is another one where the music video for this is also equally like, huh,
dressed as monkeys.
yep,
I love it.
yeah. Um,
But yeah, it's just funny how they take very benign statements, but all together. I mean, yeah, yes, I'm Siskel, yes, I'm Ebert, and I'm giving two thumbs up is not in and of itself a naughty statement, but in the context of this song,
I,
it's just so funny how they were able to twist stuff like that in the context of this.
well, you know what the sad thing about that is now is that you play that song, there's a lot of people out there who don't know who
Don't
Siskel
know
and
who they
Ebert are
are. I know.
anymore. When that was like the gold standard
Hmm.
for, hey, if Siskel and Ebert gave it two thumbs up, like,
Like, we've got
oh,
to see this.
we
Yeah.
yeah, that's something where it's like, oh yeah, I definitely got to do that. That is also on my list as well. It's part of my last group where it's like radio songs that made you go WTF.
Yeah.
So our first or second overlap, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
So okay. So my next group, or wait, I'm sorry, was that it for?
Yeah, that's the last one in that group.
Okay. So this is the second half of my comedic groups slash duos. Um, Another duo is Garfunkel and Oates that I love a lot of their songs, and they're actually surprisingly, not only they're funny, they're surprisingly good artists as well.
And they
Um,
write in a lot of other sitcoms and stuff too. Like
yes,
they've
they do.
done work on, Big Bang and all kinds of other, sitcoms. A lot of the music that you hear, like when songs pop up, are written by them. So I
Yep.
think that's pretty cool.
So I have you, me, and Steve on there because I don't know. I just felt like it matched the tone of this list pretty good. I have another one of their songs coming up a little bit later on. Um, my next one I have, I can't remember if I put this on my covers list or if you had it on there. Um, maybe just encourage everyone, go back and listen to our
Yeah.
episodes on covers. But I have Boys in the Hood by Dynamite Hack because um it sounds so white that it's hilarious. But also I don't know, just it plays really well. And as a guy who was in a fraternity in college, that song gets played a lot at
Oh
frat
yeah.
houses because, you know, here's a bunch of fraternity guys thinking that they're hot shit, and what better way to make people realize that they're hot shit than playing Boys in the Hood by a bunch of,
Right.
non NWA people. So my final one, I have the Four Chord Song by the Axis of Awesome. And
I
You
got
never?
nothing on this. I've never heard of this in any way, shape, or form.
So they're a comedy group out of, I think, Australia, and um, they have a sketch where they're talking about how come they've never been successful as a band, and what the piano player says is it's because we've never had a four chord song before, and it was like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So he starts playing like the four main chords, so like D, G, C, one other chord, I don't remember what. And he starts playing Don't Stop Believing, and then he starts singing a bunch of songs that just take from that same chord progression, and then they speed it up and they just jam a bunch of these songs in here. Um, like there's some random songs in there, like they incorporate If I Was a Boy by Beyonce. They incorporate like one of my favorites that they incorporated The Calling, uh when or Wherever You Will Go on there, which I think that song slaps,
So
but
great.
even though I think that song slaps, I can also objectively say that that song is total horseshit. So they just incorporate a bunch of songs in there, and it's hilarious because it's fun. It's fun to realize that, oh, all of these songs just use the same chord progression, and they're the like the guitar player, the bass player is kind of like super awkward about stuff. And they're constantly giving the piano or their keyboard player a bunch of shit. It's hilarious. It's a lot of fun. I definitely encourage you
Oh, I'll be
watch
checking that out.
watch the YouTube video of that, because the YouTube video is a lot of fun.
It's really cool that they pointed that out because if you watch the Saturday Night Live special they did called Ladies and Gentlemen, then it was on the music when they did all the stuff they were doing a month or two ago. And there's that awesome cut at the beginning of the it's like a an hour long documentary that was part of it.
Mhm.
And it starts with just a bunch of cuts of everyone saying ladies and gentlemen, it's a bunch of the celebrities introducing. But after they get through the ladies and gentlemen part, it's about 5 straight minutes of performances being cut into each other where you hear all that. How it's like you wouldn't think Mbop and Turn Back Time had the same underlying, chords being played, but it was so cool. Like James Brown, Duran Duran, like it was crazy amount of stuff where you're like, oh, that is all the same. How did I not hear it? It's so different, but it's still the same. And it was really cool. So I think it's cool that there's a song that points
That
that
just
out.
calls it out. So yeah, that is the end of my comedic groups and duos um part.
Well, this
So
is the
what is
beginning of mine, basically. So,
well then
which,
let's go ahead and
so
transition
my
into that.
Yep, my next three are all three Lonely Island, and we have talked about all three basically. So, my
Sorry.
first one's the Jack Sparrow because Kenny G, so or Kenny G, I can't even Michael Bolton. I was thinking of Kenny G because I almost did the Katy Perry song with Kenny G,
Yeah,
and I was like, I can only do one of these guys because I thought that was equally funny
right.
that Kenny G's in a Katy Perry song. But
Mhm.
the Michael Bolton and Jack Sparrow was just so that's what introduced me to Lonely Island. And I was like, this is amazing. The production value that they let them get away with for this.
Right.
It just kind of blows my mind, honestly. Because
Mhm.
it's not I'm not saying it's like a throwaway sketch, but it also seems like the kind of thing where they would cut for time if they had to,
Absolutely. Yes.
because they don't have a team of people lined up ready for this. They're like, oh, we'll cut it. We can always throw it in later because it's pre-recorded, you
Mhm.
know?
Yeah.
So I think it's so smart. And I love just the Michael Bolton of it all. This is
Mhm.
just so much, it's so much fun. So my next one was I'm on a boat. And if you don't find yourself singing that later in the day after hearing it, then you just have no fun in your life.
Exactly. Yep. Plain and
It's
simple.
just so ridiculous how easy it is to start singing I'm on a boat.
Yep.
And then Dick in a Box, because that is one of the best Christmas songs ever.
It
It's just,
Oh, we really missed out on that one.
I,
Yeah,
yeah. Christmas Volume 2, baby.
So that was the first time that I thought, man, Justin Timberlake actually can be a little bit funny. Like,
Right.
good for him, man. But it was so for me, the one that like just barely made or didn't make the list that kind of broke my heart was Jizz in My Pants. For because number one, it's funny, but I went to a my senior year of college, I went to a conference in Texas for student government. We didn't get anything out of the conference, mainly because a lot of the programs that they were pitching to us were things that were like, no, this would not work somewhere with us or somewhere like us for our school. But just we got into a rhythm where like anytime we get excited about something, we would say Jimp, just Jimp, because it's it felt a lot better to say Jimp as
Yeah.
opposed to just the full scale jizz in my
Yep.
pants part of
Mm.
that. So yeah, the Lonely Island is great, and it just bummed me out that I made the rule for myself I can only have one, even though there's a couple
Yeah, I
on
just
here
couldn't
that I
do that
put
this
in.
time. I
Yeah,
wanted to, but I'm like, nope, nope, nope,
not
just
this
not gonna
one.
do it.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. All right. Were those the
Yeah,
three
that was
that
it.
you?
That was the three. Those all went together.
Mhm.
So yeah, your turn.
So these are my songs from stand-up comics that I like, whether because they're funny or because, it's surprisingly, good, a good performance. Um, my first one in this group, I feel like I'm going to get a lot of shit for this because this is, I mean, if you really think about it, this song isn't
Oh, I
that
hope it's on my
funny.
list too.
It's not really that funny per se, but honestly, I'm not sure it is because I think you're going to be like, really, that song? Um, I have King Tut by Steve Martin
Oh,
on
I love that
on
song.
on here. Um,
No,
first
it
of
did
all,
not make my list. I did not think about that.
most people don't, but the first time I remember hearing this song was in music class in third grade. And I just remember thinking to myself, this is weird. This is a weird song. Who makes a song about King Tut? But then once you realize it's Steve Martin and he had like a whole routine with it,
Yeah, and
or
like drop down from the ceiling and just everything about it was a big number.
yeah. So I picked that because it just made me chuckle when I was in elementary school music class that like we were listening to this song. So there's that. So
No,
my
that's an
next
awesome pick.
you're being generous. Thank
No,
you for that.
I'm actually upset I didn't think about Steve Martin because he's got more that
He's got yeah.
easily could have made this list.
Um when I was in high school and college, a big stand-up comedian for us in our group of friends, which is weird because I'm not really like a big blue collar comedy tour guy, but there's a guy, he's not in the blue collar comedy tour, but he kind of just latched onto the shtick a little bit, was Rodney Carrington. And Rodney Carrington, he was another one that he had a lot of stand-up comedy specials where he incorporated music. And one of his songs was he wrote a letter to his penis. And where he talks
And
about
the trend continues.
like I don't it's like I don't think I like you anymore. Um and just it's very funny just the way that he incorporates, you know, different things when it comes to just being him alone with his penis. So I I think it's hilarious. And that transitions nicely to although not the same thing, but I have Asshole by Dennis Leary.
That's on
And
my list. That's
yeah,
the one
so
when I honestly thought that's what you were going to say instead of the Steve Martin one. I'm like, I feel like you're about to say Dennis Leary.
yeah, so
That's on my list. There's no way to leave that off our list.
right.
It's
It's
so fun.
it's such a funny song and just so unexpected. And I was like, yeah, Dennis Leary feels like the perfect person to sing something like this, but also
but also very unexpected.
very
Like he's
also
not someone
unexpected.
that's ever just up doing stand up with a guitar in the background.
Hmm.
Like this isn't like Tom Green or someone where they don't sing a lot, but they do have musical abilities and like to show them off every once in a while. Like Adam Sandler, you expect him to sing.
Right.
You know, there's other artists where you don't necessarily expect it and it pops in, but I never in a million years would have expected a radio played song to come out by Dennis Leary.
Right.
But it's so perfect. It's his style. It's I don't know. Like I love when he starts getting really amped up near the end and the lyrics start going faster, like where he's like more like talking through all the lyrics at the end just to get them out. It's so great.
Hmm. Yep. So that's the stand-up comic piece. I tried to get an Adam Sandler song on here and they all got cut for time, which
Don't worry,
broke my
he
heart.
makes the showing.
There we go. All right. Uh, what is in your next group?
My next three are radio played songs.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is the only one that made my list that I didn't cut as a song that I don't feel like some people might not think it was meant to be funny, but it's 100% funny. And it's Right Said Fred, I'm Too Sexy, because if they didn't go into it thinking that that's hilarious, like
Right.
seriously, how can you not think that's not funny? I mean,
Hmm.
I've never seen anyone listen to this song and not bring a smile to their face. It's just you can't take yourself seriously, but then watching the video makes it just elevates it so much.
Hmm.
But it's just a great song and it's been used in so many ways. I just love anytime it pops up in a movie or on a soundtrack for a sitcom or something. It just always elevates things for me.
Hmm. Good call.
My next one's The Real Slim Shady. And I think it's hilarious that of all of his songs, this one's the one I put in here because I just recorded with the guys over at Franchise Paradiso and we spoiler alert talked about Josie and the Pussycats, which had a Carson Daly reference in it, like he was in it. And the song also references Carson Daly. And if you had told me that I would be recording twice in a row and Carson Daly would have some kind of tangential relationship to what I was recording, I'd be like, you're insane. Like there's
Hmm.
no 6 degrees of separation that would bring those together. But but here we are.
Here we are. Yep.
It's kind of wild. But
Well,
I think this song's so funny. I
yeah.
just, especially if you were familiar with the celebrities and the time, it's
Hmm.
even funnier. Like I don't think that, you know, a 20-year-old today isn't going to find it funny. I just think a 40-year-old's going to find it funnier.
It's gonna find it way funnier. Yep.
It hits different if you're familiar with everything that was going on at the time.
Right. Hmm.
And then my last one in this group, if you've ever heard of the song, I would be absolutely shocked. But if this is our Peyton Parrish, like I'm going to lose it. The song's called Detachable Penis.
Nope. Nope.
Okay. I
That's
would have lost it if you had ever heard of this.
hmm.
Okay, so here's why I've heard of it. This was actually on a mixtape that was given to me when I was in high school for prom by my date who I was not dating.
That person has game. That's an awfully bold choice.
It's the best. It was so like that just encapsulates how my humor has always been like this, right? Like I have always been this person.
Hmm.
Just a little bit ridiculous, just a little bit off. So yeah, I went to, and this is gonna sound like so it's not braggy because this is the nerds won that year. So our class president was one of us. And I went with him to prom because we just were in the same friend group and we didn't have dates. And he asked me, and I was like, sure, why not? We hang out all the time anyway.
Hmm.
So such a cool thing that for the month leading up to prom, he was literally making a mixtape for the car ride with like Lady in Red and like all kinds of like sweet, like, you know, songs about, you know, chicks, not like necessarily like lovey-dovey songs because we were friends, but just like I only remember two songs from that tape, Lady in Red and Detachable Penis. And he thought it was so funny that he was able to get it onto the tape because it's not like it was played all that often and no one had a copy of it. Like it was a song that came out in 1992 that we'd probably heard like in the middle of the night on the alternative station that we had here that would play weird, funny stuff like that. And the fact that he was able to get it into the middle of the mixtape was hilarious because it then obviously made it a tape I couldn't just play, you know, in my house randomly.
Mhm.
because you never knew when detachable penis was going to pop up. So, and it's just the lyrics are literally it's about a guy who like woke up and he couldn't find his penis because it's
Hmm.
detachable and that's a problem. So he had to backtrack where he got drunk last night trying to find his penis, and if it wasn't detachable he wouldn't have this problem. And then he found it being sold at like a secondhand shop or something. Like it's so it tells an entire story about the
Hmm.
trials and tribulations of having a detachable penis. And
Nice.
it's just it's like Katya and Archer with the,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally just like, yeah, it comes off.
Nice.
So, and that's what the song's about. And the fact that it was in a super sweet mixtape for prom is just, and
Just
what's funny about the song is that there's a guy singing a story, and just in the background the whole time you hear women singing detachable penis. Like it's just over everything. So like every other lyric is detachable penis, which I now know I've said way too many times. Like I've met my quota for my life now. Like
I wouldn't go that far, but
oh,
I
it's so
gotcha.
much. But yeah, it's really funny. If you've never heard it, it's worth 2 minutes of your time because it's just ridiculous.
Worth 2 minutes of your time. All right. Um,
Yeah.
so once I get a copy of your list, then yes, I will. That will be the first one that I listen to because that one is a blind spot for me, but
Yeah.
I'm
Like I
looking
said, if
forward
you
to
had
listening
said you
to it.
had heard of that, I would have like absolutely lost it.
Mhm. Gotcha. Okay.
All right, what's on your next set?
My next set is the How I Met Your Mother set because I I really also wanted to try to limit something from like one particular TV show or movie, but this is one where I was like, God, a lot of these people are really talented. So,
Mhm.
um, and they're three of the more conventional picks. So I've got the "You've Got Slapped" song.
But
Um,
I cut that one. Yeah, that was in my original
mhm.
list.
um, just just because it's Jason Segel, when it comes to songs like these, is just perfect. Um, does such a great job with that. Um, if I had to think of a song that made me laugh the most from that, I had to pick Two Beavers Are Better Than One, uh, because that whole
Twice the
episode
fun.
is objectively hilarious.
Oh, it's so good.
Because
It's one of the best.
it makes you look back at certain other children's shows and you're like,
Right.
what
With a more critical eye, thinking,
what
oh, wow.
like this is all very problematic
Mm.
in a lot of ways. And the other song that I had to include on here is "Let's Go to the Mall," because that just feels very of our time that there
Mhm.
would be a song like that. And as somebody who did just go to the mall
Yeah.
a lot and not to the desolate wastelands that they are
Right.
today,
Hmm.
um, going to the mall was like a big
It's so
deal.
great that the 80s didn't come to Canada until the 90s.
Exactly. um, yeah, that
I think it's great that our picks didn't overlap, but it's probably only because I forgot about the Bieber song. I
mm,
had Let's Go to the Mall and Slapsgiving on here.
nice, nice,
But I cut them, and that's so funny. I love it.
mhm, nice. So that's my How I Met Your Mother set.
So I'll just go. My next set has my How I Met Your Mother song, and that's Nothing Suits Me Like a Suit.
Oh, I love that song. That was a
That was
hard cut
such
for
a
me.
great number.
Hmm.
Like just everything about it was so good. I love everyone taking part in that song because I
Hmm.
think it's the only song that they all take part in, other than when they're yelling uh the pin code in the
Hmm.
banana pajama whatever
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah.
But I like that they're all in it. I love that Neil Patrick Harris is just so great. Like I loved when he made his appearance in Glee and when he pops into other stuff performing because he's just got the song and dance moves.
Hmm.
So it was a really great vehicle for him to show off, that side of his skill set. So I thought it was cool that they did a big production for this.
Hmm.
My next one is also another TV one. I love this one so much. It's a little bit Alexis from Schitt's Creek.
Hmm.
This song slaps
Yes, it
hard. It is a
does.
banger. Like
Very much
it'll
so.
get stuck in your head. And it's so funny that they're talking about how they had her with a voice coach and blah blah blah. And like, she's auditioning to basically be a background dancer. Like
Hmm.
what you just and they cut her off. So it's so great that they did the entire song though is
Hmm.
available because you don't get that much of it in the show.
Hmm.
But it's so that like it's exactly what you would expect it to be from her though, because it's talking about I'm a Lamborghini, I'm a Hollywood star. I'm a little bit tipsy when I drive my car. I
Hmm.
love it. Like
It's
it's
a
just
great pick.
exactly
It's a
the
great pick.
socialite kind of lyrics you would expect. Like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, like I mean Paris Hilton's had more than one song now, so I can't really say that she only put out the one because she could, but this is exactly the kind of thing you would expect from a person of that era putting out a song.
Hmm.
And then this was where I had a hard time because 30 Rock does not have a lot of their music available on Spotify and they've got so
Which,
many great songs.
which
I
again
wanted
is
I wanted
ridiculous.
Rural Juror so bad. Like
Oh.
what's the movie she's in? I don't know. And then she's like Rural Juror. Like
Hmm.
I don't know how she was able to get all those lyrics out, but the song I ended up picking mostly just because it was the only one I could get onto the list is Muffin Top, which was also used a lot in the show. And it actually sounds like you would hear it on the radio anyway, but it makes no sense. The lyrics are ridiculous because it's talking about her muffin top, which we know is not a muffin. And
Hmm.
not that she has one because she's super skinny anyway. But I think the lyrics are so funny talking about how it's whole grain, no fat, and like, you want a piece of that.
Hmm.
But she just wants to dance.
Hmm.
It gets stuck in your head. It's a real big earworm for me, especially with rewatching the series recently because it's on. They play it over credits a lot, along with Werewolf Bar Mitzvah.
Nice.
I really wish the kidney song had been on here, but it just wasn't available. So the Rural Juror and kidney song were the ones I wanted, but Muffin Top definitely deserved to be here.
Hmm.
So that's the end of that set.
Right. Um, so this is my transition from TVs to movies. So I have one last TV song, and then we're transitioning into my odd. I have a lot of songs, or I have more than one song from the Lego Movie 2 on this list. Um, which was weird to me because it was like, why are there so many songs on here from the Lego Movie 2? But um it's I guess I it's mainly because my oldest listened to this soundtrack religiously for a while. Uh which is weird because it's just it's not as good as the Lego movie, but it's still a lot of fun. And this song actually was a last minute ad because um when you said 30 Rock, I thought of other kind of uh adjacent shows to that. And I remembered, oh yeah, I forgot about Pinot Noir. I actually just reshuffled my list to include Pinot Noir on that because Kimmy Schmidt is great, and that introduced me to Titus Burgess, or
Oh.
and just love it. So I added that in, and then this is where we get the Garfunkel and Oates connection because they did a version of Everything Is Awesome for the Lego Movie 2. So I did that, but also
Awesome.
this is another song. I completely forgot. T-Pain makes two appearances on this list because I have the catchy
Who would have
song.
thought?
Who would have thought? Indeed, but um, I played this at trivia once because it's literally them just singing. This song's gonna get stuck inside your head for
Right?
like 5 minutes, and
They're not wrong.
and I played it at trivia once, and everyone was like, "What the hell is this?" And I was like, "I've had to listen to this for like 3 days straight, so I'm going to subject you to all of this so that you get a smidge of what I've had to experience."
Right.
And by the end of it, it's like the modern version of the song that never ends. And like
It
again,
is. That's
again,
so accurate.
most people are like, I don't get that reference, but hey, it is
Uh,
what it is. But that doesn't change the fact that the song actually kind of slaps a little
it
bit.
really
It's
does.
pretty good. Um, so yeah, that's my we're moving from TV to movies list, and that is my next three.
So my next three are movie, TV, and then I'm back to radio play and
Mm.
stand up. So I've got two Monty Python songs, and there was no way for me to choose between these two.
Mhm.
And it's just more evidence that this was the most non-family friendly list we've ever made.
Yep.
So I've got the Lumberjack song and Sit on My Face. What does say you show me that you care and that you love me more than sitting on someone's face?
Exactly. That is very true.
It's just so wild. That
Mm.
song is so wild. So I like pairing it with the Lumberjack song though, because I'm
Good,
a lumberjack and that's okay.
good call. Yeah, very
My one
nice.
brother sings the Lumberjack song in its entirety, just on demand. So
Hmm.
it's kind of great that it's also great he's the one that listens to this. So I'm
Hmm.
sure I'm going to get a phone call that will literally just be me saying hello and him starting in on the Lumberjack song.
Yeah, good call. Nice.
And then my last one in this is Kyle's mom is a big fat bitch. Oh,
Well,
I
which version? Because there's the TV show version, and then
right.
there's the one from the movie.
This is the one on Spotify that sounded the most correct was the one from the Chef 8 episode. So,
Mm,
and it actually ended with a Cal's mom is a big fat stupid. Yeah, like that one.
mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, because there's also some really cool live versions of Trey and Matt performing them at different things, which is pretty fun because some of those are a little different. So,
I have those will be coming later on my list that there's a couple on there because
yeah, I almost put Blame Canada because that version was pretty fun too.
well,
But
but
I like to I feel like well, this is one of those songs that me and my husband will sing at each other. So
mm,
it needed to
the
make the list.
the blame Canada is going to show up on another one of our lists coming up
Nice.
soon
Oh yeah.
because uh
Oh yeah.
put some respect on that
Yeah.
song.
Like
Academy
seriously.
Award nominated song.
Yeah.
um and
Academy Award
and
nominated Blame
and
Canada.
I will never forget that they either went to the Oscars in the same like J-Lo
Oh, the J
dress.
Lo dress. It was
Yeah,
so great.
that
And
was
then the Gwyneth
hilarious.
Paltrow one, right?
Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that was so amazing.
Yeah. So
That J Lo dress was right on too.
yes, very much.
Even the headband, it was so great.
Hmm.
So that's it for that set. I've got two sets left.
I
I'm not sure where
have
that puts you because I know you had more songs.
I have three sets left. So
That
I
works out perfect then.
I did I'm gonna shuffle I'm going to do my radio list now. So um these are songs that they're radio songs that make you just kind of scratch your head a little bit. So the first one is The Bad Touch because
Yeah.
that's I think that song is the epitome of something like that. The next song is Afternoon Delight by Starlight Vocal Band.
Such a
And
great pick.
um it's mainly for two things. Um, the first part of this is when Will Ferrell and the guys in Anchorman all sing it together. It's like, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
lie, you guys, that sounds pretty damn good that they did it. But there's also a scene in Arrested
I was
Development
about to say,
where,
please tell me you're going to bring up the Arrested Development karaoke.
yeah, because that's one where I think that we should probably do a list of songs that's like, boy, we should not have sung that
Right.
song out loud ever. But as Michael is singing that song and
Oh, to
is
maybe
just
with maybe and
coming to the realization
yes.
this song is not good.
Yeah,
So
we shouldn't have just gone alphabetically with the first available song and then
Yeah.
And his sister makes the same mistake with George Michael.
Yeah. So
It's like, guys.
so there's that. Um I have a couple other songs in this. So the first one is this came up at trivia not too long ago. It was a song by O-Town, and it's called Liquid Dreams
Yes.
by O-Town. Um, like
I
I'm
cut it, but it belongs in this list so much.
I'm gonna be recording something with a buddy of mine soon where we're gonna be talking about songs where you remember the music video more
Mhm.
than the actual song itself,
With
or
that
the
amazing
ones where
CGI.
but then the CGI also distracts the fact that, oh,
It's like
this song is about wet dreams.
it's like, wait a minute. Are they
It's
actually singing about that? Because you're like
like
singing like my liquid jeans. And I'm like,
and then you're
it's
like, oh no, 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 no,
yeah.
no.
It's
Um,
so funny because of the type of band that like they were, appealing to like 14-year-old girls. And then that's the song they came out with. Because
yep,
that was like one of that their first or second big release after
it
the
was.
show.
It
Like
was. I think it was their first hit, and
their
then they
first
came
hit
out with
after the show. It was crazy.
and then they
I'm like,
had All or Nothing, which
I'm like,
I
why is Ashley
objectively love
Angel
that.
singing about this? No, no, no.
It just
I don't like that I know this.
it really makes you think and makes you wonder a little bit. So, um, my last song in this list, I've seen this guy live as well because of course this guy would come to like a small college town in the middle of Illinois. Um, and you don't realize like this is all you have, isn't it? And that's fine. But there is nothing like being with a bunch of people in a college town at a bar singing together because I got high by Afro Man. Um, this is another one that's like, how on earth did this make it on the radio? Like, I
Right?
I do not understand it, but also that doesn't change the fact also that this song is ridiculous. It's hilarious, and Afro Man's kind of a dick as well, but doesn't change the fact that this song's a lot of
That
fun.
is wild that he came to the
Like
college down in your area. Like that's so random.
it's so random. It also reeks of desperation, but hey,
But I guess like when that's your really only hit, you
that's
can go on a college tour.
that's all you got, right?
That's
So,
what you got.
yep. So that is my radio play. And the rest of them are from movies. So,
So my next one is my last list of radio play, and we have already talked about the one was the Dennis Leary asshole, which I put it in this one because my next set is more stand-uppy, but it kind of was right on the cusp there.
mhm,
So then I've got Baby Got Back, because who would have thought we would
naturally,
be singing? Like it's just so funny that the song is so great. And the fact that it just doesn't matter what kind of genre of music you're into, you know the song and you'll sing the song and it's a fun time. It's just I love everything about it from the beginning with the girls talking. Like it's I
yep.
mean, they allowed it to play at our middle school dances, which just blows my mind.
This so there were a couple songs that we in middle school we or in not middle school but in like L like intermediate school we had things called FNAs. So first of all, the fact that we call them FNAs is hilarious.
It doesn't make
But
it sound better.
it's
It kind of makes it sound a little shady.
they're called Friday Night Alternatives, and
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
there were a couple songs that they would play that they would like make sure to warn us all. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, these songs are inappropriate, so
This and
just.
Tootsie Roll, they always like gave us like a disclaimer ahead of time, but they still played them, which was funny.
But the other, so Baby Got Back was on that list, and the other song that was on that list was the Barbie Girl song, and but the Baby
Poor
Got
Aqua.
Back also. Uh, looking back at Baby Got Back, I think one of my favorite parts about that song also is the music video of Sir
Mhm.
Mix-a-Lot, which by the way, great name for,
that is a great. If you are gonna go into music, what better name?
but him just standing on what only could be described as a paper mache butt, and just do also sing, King, just sing, because you're singing about something or rapping about something that you love. Good for you, man. So
Right.
um
I love that song got the popularity and notoriety that it did, and not necessarily for the wrong reasons. Like people just still enjoy it.
mhm,
They're not. I mean, at the time it was a big deal, but I just love that it still is a song that like everyone knows this song.
mhm,
It's not one that like faded out with generations.
yeah.
Still one that people know.
Mhm.
Um, so then my last one in this is kind of along the same vein, and it just was so freaking popular when this album came out, and that was the Thong Song by Cisco. You didn't go anywhere, do anything without hear. You would be. I grew up in Daytona Beach, so when I was in college, I'm driving along I-1A and stuff all the time just to get where I'm going, and you would not be able to sit at a stoplight and not hear this song that year. I
Mhm,
mean, that's how just popular this was all the time. It wasn't just a spring break kind of anthem, even though that year it totally was.
mhm.
But it's just so funny that at the time I could have sang every lyric of the song, start to finish, and did all the time. I had the CD. I
Well, but the other thing too, because my wife had never heard this song, and it came on the radio one day, and I sang
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I still know a
Um,
lot of it.
Yep. Well, the reason why you know a lot of it is because it's also one of the laziest pop songs ever,
Oh,
because
100%.
it is first verse, pre-chorus, chorus, and then they just do it all over again.
Yep.
That's it.
Mhm.
That's it.
Yeah, you
So,
just got to know which order. Like that's it. It's
yep.
not a lot to it.
Um,
But it gets in your head and it's not going anywhere. It's burned in there. It's so funny though that like
they
there's no bra song, but there's a thong song.
there is,
And
I mean, whoever one day wants to make you know, the equivalent of that with the bra song, I'm sure would make a killing
oh,
off
I
of
have no
that.
doubt.
But some of the word poetry that's in this, she had dumps like a truck,
Yes.
truck.
Which
Um,
made some of us be like, wow, what is that referring to? Is that my
mhm.
thighs? Is that what is that? What is my dump?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like
But
it doesn't like
the
I had to ask. I
this
didn't have Google to check it with at the time.
this not the thong song, because I play it like, I think I play it once every like quarter at trivia, and they're like, why are you doing this? I was like, because this is the product of a time,
Mhm.
and like everybody just needs to embrace it.
Yep.
But this came up recently because one of my favorite things to watch on TikTok is guys saying something like, "Hey, nice jugs," and then they walk up behind somebody, and they're like,
Oh
somebody
yeah.
walks up behind them, and it's like, "I'm talking about these jugs. What are you doing?" Just to get a rise out of people.
Mm.
But that came up recently. It was like, "Hey, you got a nice dump truck," and there's a guy that comes up behind him with like a toy dump truck. It's like, you guys are such assholes, but also this is objectively funny.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I would not have known what that was because without the thong song. So I guess thank you, Cisco.
Yeah. I mean, it was very much a product of the time because you would hear like this and Hot in Here. Like I could not go to a club and not hear these songs every single time.
Yep.
But they were, you want to get up and dance when you hear these.
Mhm. Yep.
And that is the last of my radio play.
Um, Kind of in that similar pain or similar vein of T-Pain being on this list twice. One person that I did not think was going to be on this list twice was John C. Riley. And John C. Riley making it on my list twice. I'm calling this the John C. Riley block. So I
Yeah.
have Walk Hard,
Oh
because
yeah.
how can you not? And then I also have second also mention of Boats with Boats and Hose.
Yeah.
Um,
That was a tough cut for me.
yeah. So uh John C. Riley making it on the list twice
Oh, that's amazing. I'm so
is
glad.
hilarious to me. So yeah, that's my John C. Riley group.
Those
Um
are great picks.
um so what is give me your last
All right.
set.
So my final three, two are from Adam Sandler, because how could I make this list and not include him? I love his last two specials being majority of music. I can't remember his keyboard player right now's name, but the two of them just play off each other so well. And it's so much fun to see them interacting throughout the songs together.
Mhm.
But my favorite one from his 100% Fresh was Phone Wallet Keys. Because I feel that song on a very visceral level.
Mhm.
I don't like leaving the house with stuff that isn't my phone, my wallet, and my keys. But when you have kids and you're doing things, you have to. So I love as the song progresses, it's like, okay, I need my passport, phone, wallet, keys, passport, phone, wallet, keys, passport. Like, and then it's like he needs his iPad and the laptop. And then when he starts actually just listing everything, is when it just gets kind of like an asshole with Dennis Leary, where at the end he kind of starts just unleashing the
Mhm.
beast into everything. And then it's like, I'll stay home.
Yeah.
So I love that. That song just gets stuck in my head too, though. I catch myself leaving the house sometimes saying it. And I don't know if it's more so I don't forget my phone or my wallet, or if it's just because I'm now programmed to sing that song as I leave my house.
Mhm.
And then I've got Somebody Kill Me from The Wedding
That was
Singer.
that was a hard cut for me because I had that. I also had the Hanukkah song on
I
here
did
as
too. I
well.
cut that too because I figured we'd use it for
A
a
holiday
holiday
one at
episode
some
because
point.
that song's just that was a trailblazer.
Mhm.
I think that's why most people know who he is because at that point, Opera Man was one of his other more popular sketches. But
Mhm.
um, yeah, the Somebody Kill Me. Oh, it's so funny. I mean, trigger warnings out the wazoo for that one, but
For sure. Yeah. And it comes from an underrated just a very underrated movie in Adam Sandler's catalog. The Wedding Singer. Just love it. It's
it's
really
so
good.
good. I love that one. And then rounding out my list, I actually have another Weird Al, but it was so I could bring the list down and kind of end on a eBay, the parody of I Want It That Way. I love the list of stuff in this song. It's so great. Just talking about all the stupid stuff he bought on eBay.
Mhm.
And like I don't it's just a used pink bathrobe, a rare mint snow globe, a Smurf TV tray. I bought it on eBay. Like every verse just has the most random, but I guarantee we could find them. So yeah, like Pez dispenser. It's so much fun stuff. Farrah Fawcett poster, the Dukes of Hazard ashtray.
Good call on that. So you mentioned the eBay song. There's a Bob Saget special where he sings Bob Saget Isn't Gay to the tune of I Want It That Way. Um, and I forget how much, like how talented Bob Saget is,
Oh
and it
yeah.
just made me miss him. Plus, also Spotify doesn't have it for some strange reason. I was
Hmm.
like, okay, fine. But that's a good call out um for the eBay song. That's a great one to end on. My last three are more songs from movies, and um, it I can't believe that this song made the list proper, but I remember watching this movie and just thinking, it's like, I know this song. I know it, and I just could not figure out what the song was. And then once I figured it out, I just started laughing so unbelievably hard. So objectively, is the song very funny? No. Is the story surrounding it funny? Yes. Um, and that's the Minions version of I Swear from Despicable Me. I can't remember which one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm
That's so great though.
I'm I'm
They're all the same. It doesn't matter. But it's so
I'm
great.
I'm a little ashamed that this made my list, but also I cannot deny that this made me laugh a lot. Um, and my final two are the aforementioned Trey Parker, Matt Stone grouping. I tried to think what two songs kind of incorporate this funny style, and I thought that there were going to be two songs from South Park, like anything South Park related. I had a bunch of songs from South Park, and they all ended up getting cut. So we're going to have to do a volume 2
Oh
at
yeah.
some point. Surprisingly, the two songs that made my list were from Team America instead. So I have the America Fuck Yeah
Not to
song.
say, because that was on my initial list too.
Because I think Team America might go down as the funniest movie that I've seen in theaters. Or at least one of them. Because
Did you expect to see puppet sex on the screen? I didn't.
No, I did not.
I was just like, wow.
I just love the way it starts as well, where it's like shitty production values, and then it just like scales back. It's like, oh, we're in Paris, and they like went for it.
Yeah.
And even the part where like they just have two puppets getting ready to fight one another, and they're just they're just like jostling with one another. Even this came up at trivia a couple nights ago as well, is that we had a question about the movie We Bought a Zoo, which and I said it like it was like, who's the actor that plays the main father? And I said it in the way that Matt Damon's name is said all throughout Team America, and I got a big laugh out of that, and I was like, I'm kind of proud of myself. But the other one, and I ended with this, it's the montage song, because
that's the best.
it's just,
I had such a hard time on this one. And the only reason the Kyle's Mom song made it over the montage and everything, because like I said, I love all these songs, but I find myself singing that one more, is the only reason that one made my list instead of the others. But yeah, the montage song, I can't tell you how many times I played that back when I got that DVD set the first time, because when we saw it, like in its initial, like when it was released, I was like, oh my God, that's hysterical. Like it was so Karate Kid and so of that, like it perfect for that time, right?
Yep.
And then when we got the DVD, I can't tell you how many times me and my husband played that back, and we're just laughing our butts off, because it's so right on the feel of those movies that they're making fun of.
Yep.
We need a montage.
Yeah. Oh man. So yeah,
that was a great pick.
That's our list right there.
It's something. It's a good time.
So Patrice, last question I have for you before we wrap up, because it is right, like we actually perfectly timed this.
I know, right? This is amazing.
If this album somehow was an actual CD, what's gonna be the album cover?
So I want the cover of this to be so serious and have absolutely like no discernible way for you to know what you're getting in for. I want it to almost look like a floral arrangement from a wedding. So that if someone wasn't looking and paying attention, and I want
That's evil, but hilarious.
I want it to be a white cover, and I want it to have like very wedding looking flowers kind of just on, just like maybe on a white tablecloth or just a white background, where it just looks like flowers just sitting there. So it's just very benign, very understated. And I and I just want it to be called Unexpected.
Nice.
That you weren't completely not warned what you were getting in for. But yeah, I just want it unexpected.
That is great. I am, unlike you, I'm leaning into this. And one of my favorite all-time SNL sketches is Celebrity Jeopardy. And I felt the most appropriate thing for an album cover is just the category, an album cover.
Oh, that's great.
As
like a Trebek.
Yep. That's it. That's all you're getting with this.
Oh,
And
that's great.
most people, there's going to be a fair amount of people who read that and say an album cover. Okay,
Yeah.
that's funny, but there's going to be a pretty good amount of people that's going to be
Let's
like
say anal
anal
bum
bum
cover.
cover. Yeah, they're going to say that. Um,
Oh, that's so great.
like I wanted to, because it was going to be that, and who knows, this album cover I might also incorporate that giant paper mache butt from
Yeah.
Sir Mix-a-Lot, and kind of have both of them in there. But I feel like just an album cover just sells itself. So I don't no Sir Mix-a-Lot needed for that. So
I mean, I guess like in the flower arrangement, I could have like a white thong mixed in at the end where you can't totally tell it's a thong.
oh no, you
But
just
I think the feel is right though to just have it be like, oh, this is probably just great instrumental music or something.
like nope, you're wrong. So
Let's just
oh,
play this in the car.
that's
That's a
great.
whole lot of penis in here.
A whole lot of penises in here. I can just see my mom saying that now,
Yeah.
listening to this,
That was more penis than I
on the
thought it
way
would have.
on the way to school.
Yes.
Well, Patrice, this was a great call to make this list. And right for a volume two, like we
Oh,
talked about. There's
100%.
going to be a volume two, but Patrice, it's good to see you and
Always.
so happy to get to record with you. Do you have anything you want to plug, and where can the people find you if they want to continue to have conversations about this list?
I am on Serialized and Spotify, Letterboxd, everywhere I'm at. I'm Teely Fox Talks. And you can also catch me on Sif Pop with you and all our other friends doing ridiculous stuff.
Yep. Well, good stuff. Looking forward to continuing this series because I think it's objectively hilarious
Oh, yeah.
that this made it off the list, and some of the other ones have not yet. But yeah, good call. And also this felt like a good time because I don't know, it just seems like everything's falling apart around us. So
Mhm.
this
Why not be a
perfect.
couple of April Fools and bring some levity to this world?
Exactly. So but thanks again, and looking forward to chatting with you more soon.
Most definitely.
Well, my friends, the time has come to end this episode of Mix CD. Be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to anything and everything SPDM Crew wherever you get your podcast. Join us on social media on Facebook, Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube, and Blue Sky at SPDM Crew. Check out our website soon to be out at spdmcrew.com. You could follow our playlist on Spotify and Apple Music at Mike Hilty. Shout out to HiFlyer Creative Studios for making our awesome logo. Greatly appreciate their support. And if you have any marketing, logo, or brand standard needs, contact them at HiFlyerCreative.com. If you've got a podcast idea or you're interested in being part of the SPDM crew as a guest or collaborating, email us at spdmcrew@gmail.com. Until next time, no matter what happens now, you shouldn't be afraid because I know today has been the most perfect day I've ever seen.